Hello everyone. Welcome to this demo of the Oracle Market app for the Requisition Handling Workbench built by Argano. Here's what we are going to cover in this video. Let's start with what is the Requisition Handling Workbench. The Requisition Handling Workbench gives procurement agents the ability to transform standard external requisitions that have been created by requesters and routed through the standard Oracle approval process into internal transfer orders without the need to manually cancel the requisition and manually create the internal transfer order. Why do we specifically need a solution for processing external requisitions? The standard Oracle procure-to-pay flow starts with the creation and approval of a purchase requisition, which is then converted to a purchase order by a buyer. In most companies, the purchase requisition is created by a supply planning system, based on sourcing rules. Many of those requisitions are then handled by buyers at the auto-creation stage, or personnel at similar position, who knows from whom to order, and how much to order. However, there are organizations that are using Oracle Cloud Procurement and not Oracle Supply Planning. For such companies, the process of creating requisitions is manual. There could also be requisitions created by users who do not know enough about sourcing details. For example, for a construction company, it could be field personnel creating requisitions for tools which gets approved based on field hierarchy for quantity and dollar, but not necessarily the source. For a manufacturing company, it could be shop floor workers creating requisitions for safety equipment. Also, in large organizations, many times there is a lot of time from the requisition origination from field and approval to PO because of players in approval, also different in personnel in corporate versus field. And it is specifically for those requisitions where the user creating the requisition and the requisition approver does not know where to get the item and how much quantity to order. We need a custom workbench to empower the buyer, who sits at the corporate level. The buyer knows whether the approved requisitioned item needs to be sourced from a supplier or from another organization. In our construction company example, it could be another job site few miles away. Essentially, buyer is in agreement on the quantity needed but not the source. The buyer may find partial quantity in another organization and would create a transfer order for the available quantity. For the balance, the buyer would create a purchase order to get the remainder from a supplier. Our workbench makes it very easy for the buyer to take these decisions and progress the requisition to a transfer order, a purchase order, or both, by splitting the line. Without our workbench, it would be a time-consuming manual process of canceling the original requisition and creating new ones with correct source and quantity. For bigger organizations, it has to follow again a hierarchy to get final approved. And any error in that manual process could lead to excess inventory. Example, the buyer orders from supplier when material was available in-house, or unwanted shipping costs. Example, the buyer creates a transfer order from a far-off warehouse when item was available at a local supplier. With that intro, let us now jump into the demo. After logging into the Oracle Cloud environment and selecting the application icon for the Requisition Handling Workbench built by Argano, the user interface opens to show all approved requisitions that are waiting to be processed by a procurement agent. This page shows information related to the requisition number, requisition type, item number and description, quantity requested, current list price, supplier, and requested by date. Additionally, the buyer has the ability to filter the listing of requisitions by clicking on the filter button at the top of the page. As the buyer types in the requisition number into the requisition number filter, the listing of requisitions will immediately show all applicable requisitions. In addition to the requisition number filter, there are filters given to limit the requisitions based on buyer and deliver to location. Highlighting a specific requisition and clicking on the Manage button at the top of the page takes the buyer to another screen which allows the buyer to perform actions against each line of the highlighted requisition. The buyer will then highlight the line or lines within the selected requisition and click the Copy to Manage button at the top of page. Once the lines appear within the Manage Lines section of the page, the buyer may then proceed to take action against each line of the requisition. To split the line, the buyer must first highlight one of the requisition lines, and then click on the Split button. The line is duplicated based on the original line's data and allows the buyer to update the requested quantity and sourcing details. To create an internal transfer order from an external requisition line, the buyer must first highlight the requisition line and click on the Mark for Transfer button. A pop-up window will appear that will allow the buyer to enter in the item quantity, the source organization where the item will be transferred from, and in some cases, for lot or serial controlled items, the buyer may select the specific lot number or serial number of each individual item. The buyer will then click the Apply button to save the changes. Once the buyer clicks the Submit button, a series of operations will occur, including canceling the original requisition, creating a new requisition and lines, creating supply requests for transfer orders, and creating reservations against lot and serialized items. In addition, the original requester of the external requisition will receive notifications of the newly created documents throughout the entire process. With that, we will end this demo. Thank you for watching and hope you will find this solution useful in your implementation. Have a nice day.